it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you very much for watching. So today I have a major cuteness warning. As some of you may know, I am about to do some events that involve preschool children and their parents and carers. So I am embracing that whole child thing, and I have a few projects to share. So this is one of them. It uses the A Wild Things stamp set and the matching dies, which are produced to make little tags. So when you stamp with the front and the back together, and then the die magically cuts them out in a little tag, which we will come on to. So this is a box, obviously, and inside I have got tissue paper with little teddy bears all over it, and this little cutie, which is actually a face cloth or flannel, depending on your generation, I think, just wrapped up to look like a teddy bear. And it really is one of the cutest things I think I've ever seen. I found the instructions for doing this on Pinterest. What would we do without Pinterest? So this is the little cutie. I have to say I've used some retired ribbon for his bow, but you can now get the, what do they call it? They call it shimmery. I want to say shimmery. It's called shimmer ribbon, and it comes in this is a brand spanking new pack. It comes in Pool Party, which this is what this is Pool Party, but you can now get it in the shimmery. And the one I'm coming on to, which I'm also using retired ribbon for, again, you can get the shimmery ribbon in powder pink. Because surprise, surprise, the one I'm coming on to will be the female version of this. But I shouldn't say it because I did it, but I love the tissue paper with the little bears on. Anyway, so yes, Pinterest, how to do this. It really is one of the cutest things I think I've ever seen. It almost makes me feel maternal. Not quite, but almost. And a little tag. So this is what the tags are meant to look like. With the little loop and everything, and this is the Pool Party solid baker's twine. So let us have a look at the female version. Bear with me while I just pop this back together, and then we will make the box. And as you will have seen, it's oh, and I forgot to say, there are little bears on the back as well. So we've got him sitting on the front with his bees, and then on the back, because you can't not use the back. So the female version is just a white flannel / face cloth, and I need some twine to go with that, and I can't remember whether that's actually still a live twine. We all know that me actually being prepared would be a miracle, so hey, why change the habits of a lifetime? No, so you can't get this. You can get the Pool Party, but you can't get the Brushing Bride anymore. So I would suggest using the Whisper White rather than anything else if you're trying to match with pink. So I'm going to start actually with the tissue paper, because that needs to be really, really dry. And I will grab my Blushing Bride ink, the tissue paper, which is just ordinary tissue paper. You will see, possibly, you can see the ghosting of teddy bears all over my grid paper. This time I am going to use elephants, because they're cute. So, elephant stamp. And a block, and this is far too big a block, but hey, there we go. So the key to this, and it's going to be slightly trickier with the elephant than it was with the teddy bear. Why should I make life really easy for myself? The key to this is to only ink up half of the stamp. Now, you don't have to ink it hugely because you only want, you can probably get 2, yes, out of each ink. But all I'm doing is putting the ink pad or the stamp on the side of the ink pad, and then just stamping down. But I'm really not too fussed if it's not a great impression, because it is only there to break up the white of the tissue paper and just to add a bit of something to the whole thing. So yeah, it is only after all the wrapper. Possibly want to do my stamping a little better than that. That's better. Just do another couple and then we'll be there. And then this can be sitting to one side just so that we are absolutely certain that it's dry before we introduce it to a white face towel. One there and one there. And I would always say just twist a little bit so that it doesn't look too regimented. So I don't need that anymore. Right, okay, I'm just going to clean that off because as I have white stuff around, I don't want any ink where I don't need it. Right, so I have already coloured in the elephants. As much as anything, because I'm using archival and this is on shimmery white cardstock, you do need to let the archival ink set completely, ideally overnight. I've also die cut. But what I have done is leave one of the flowers, just so that, because I'll be putting flowers on this as well, just to show you what I've done. These I've actually done in the basic grey rather than the black. And all I did with the black for the elephants, again, is just wait for it all to dry overnight. The grey doesn't seem to be quite such a problem, but I think it's because it's a paler colour. If these had been black, I think they might smudge still, because I've only just done these. Then just make sure your blender pen is clean and just blend that out. Don't need to worry about cleaning for the orange, clean for the green, and then those are ready to go for later. So these are just our standard watercolour pencils and our standard blender pen. So pop those away. I have 2 sets that I use for class. So that's those. Right, okay, so this I have die cut already. It's Blushing Bride, and I've done that with the second largest, yes, second from largest of the stitched shape framelit. I have a real problem saying that. And this is just Whisper White with one of the scallop layering circles, and it is what I would call the largest of the smallest set, because there are 2 sets. So this is the largest set, and then there's this one which is smaller, and this is the largest of those. Now I number them from the middle out, so this is number 7 and this is number 8, if that makes sense. If you don't have the stitched shape framelets, then you can just use the layering circles. And if you don't have the layering circles, you can just use 2 of the stitched shape framelets, because there is a bigger one of these. So don't worry if you've only got 1 set. You don't need to buy the other just to do this. Although obviously they are very helpful and very useful and all that good stuff. So let's see. I am just going to pop my tag onto my teddy bear. So let's just, probably easier to use the end I've just cut actually, rather than the one that's been rolling around in the drawer. So just loop that through, and then if we bring back in our little teddy bear, I have cut far too much of the baker's twine, but hey, it's retired, so it doesn't matter. And then so I've just looped it through the bow of the loop of the bow. The bow of the bow? That doesn't make sense, does it? Just snip that off. And then we've got our little tag, so when that's gifted, someone can write on that. Pop that to one side. And then I will come on to making the box. Honest, I will. I'm just going to separate off my elephant up his ear. It doesn't hurt him, honest. So if you've got children watching and they're worried about the elephant ear, tell them not to worry. And then this is a much easier loop to take off. The teddy bear is a little fiddly because it's right in amongst his ear, but that is just a snip across the top. So I am going to have my elephant there. I may not use all of the flowers. I might, but I might not. I think it'd be quite cute to have it looking as if he's holding one. So let's just take my scissors. Do be careful if you do this, because our scissors are sharp. And I'm just cutting a little slit up the side of his trunk. And then I can take, whoops, if I can pick it up, I can take one of our flowers and tuck that in there. Is it long enough to come out the other side? No, it's not. And then what I might do is actually put a dimensional under there, just so that it shows that it's up. So let's grab a mini dimensional and pop that on the back, and then that can be up so that it's obvious that our elephant is holding a flower. So let's pop the flower down. Don't know why I've suddenly gone into the plural, because there's only me here. So I will pop the flower down, the elephant down, just with my favourite glue. I've probably put too much glue on, as in gone over the edge, but I'm really not that worried, because I am going to need to then put that onto my white scalloped circle. And as ever, I like the liquid glue because, I mean, it dries clear, but it means that I've got a bit of time to wiggle around, and then we can pop the flowers. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Yes, super duper. So just some liquid glue on the back, and then we just make the box, which is actually probably the quickest part of the whole thing. Hurrah, they say, because you're taking forever to do this. I can hear you. So why don't I give you a weather update, because, you know, it's that sort of summer. It was almost sunny just now, and I was getting quite excited because today's one of my running days. So I was thinking I might actually have a sunshiny run. It's now overcast, so who knows? Who knows whether that's going to happen? Right, so that is our piece for the front. So let's get on with the box. Okay, so I have got 2 pieces of card. Let's bring in the scoreboard. I'm using Thick Whisper White for the base and Blushing Bride for the top. Let's keep our fingers crossed that I don't make a mess of this, because this is my last piece of Blushing Bride. I'm going to have to order some more. It's slightly scary when you suddenly realise that you're about to use your last piece. So this is for the lid. This is an odd size, so we'll come back to that one. So this is 10 inches by 8 inches, because my box is 6 inches by 4 inches by 2 inches deep. So you take the width, you take a dimension and add 2 of the depth. So it's 2 inches deep, 6 inches plus 4 inches is 10. And the same the other way, it's 4 inches wide. So 4 plus 2 plus 2, 4 plus 4 equals 8. So that's for the base. For the top, I only want a 1.5 inch drop. So this drop here is only 1.5 inches, and then there's a 1/2 inch gap at the bottom. So I amend my drop measurement. Instead of adding 4 inches, I'm going to add 3, because that's what 2 lots of 1.5 are, whatever is grammatically correct. But in order that the lid of my box is not exactly the same as the base, because if it was, it wouldn't fit, it needs to be very, 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 very slightly larger. So 6 plus 3 is 9. But this is actually 9 1/16. Who knew that? Who knew what a 16th was? And can I actually show you? No, because these are in oh no, they are in 16ths. Right, so a 16th is, ooh, you may be able to see this. You may not. No, I don't think you can. Anyway, on my ruler, it's 1/2 of an 1/8. So it's 9, this is 9 1/16 by 7 1/16. So 6 plus 3 for my 2 1.5 inches, and then 4 plus 3 for my 2 1.5s. So 9 1/16 by 7 1/16. So for metric, we then do go into silly figures. 25.4 by 20.3 for the base, and then for the lid, 23, which is a sensible figure, by 17.85. So there you go. Right, so let's start with the lid as we've got it on the scoreboard already, because it's a box and because I want it to be exactly the right measurement all the way round, rather than scoring at 1.5 and then 7.5, bearing in mind we've added a 16th anyway. I am going to score at 1.5 on each side. So I'm scoring, turning by 90 degrees, and then scoring at 1.5. And that way I know that each of these measurements is exactly the same. And then with the base, I just do the same thing, but at 2 inches instead of 1.5. And as I say, this box will actually not take too long to put together, which is probably just as well as we are at 17.5 minutes. So let me get a wiggle on. So scoring all of this, grabbing a bone folder. If you forget to put your 1/16 on, get a piece of card, just an offcut, fold it in half, and that's about 1/16, and then pop it on your scoreboard between the butt end and then score, and that will help. But I find it easier, frankly, to add the 1/16 onto the card rather than having to fiddle around with bits of folded cardboard, which may or may not be in exactly the right place for each score. So that's all of that burnished. So do remember that there's a little subscribe button about there. So if you want to see more madness and weather updates for Oxfordshire, do please subscribe. Otherwise, don't. So for those of you who have seen my channel before, when I'm making a box, I cut to the inside of the scoreline, and I basically cut the scoreline out. So the scoreline will now have 2 definite edges. So I'm going to cut up the inside. So there's my score line, you can see it there. So I've cut to the inside of that, and then I'm going to wedge that out. And I'm just wedging out an arbitrary amount. It's not an exact science. And I'm going to do that on both sides of the little flap. And I will do that all the way round. So yes, if you want to see weather updates for Oxfordshire, that may or may not be relevant for when you're watching this, because I record in advance. If you want to hear about how my running is going, if you want to have the running commentary on how our cats are, any of that good stuff, or even if you want to look at my projects and hear about Stampin' Up, that would be good. Just hit the subscribe button and you will get to know when there is another video. If you want to receive my newsletter, hop over to my blog. There's a link for that below where you will find all of the measurements and the products that I have used, although the products are also listed below. So yes, you can sign up for my newsletter, and if you're in the UK, you will then, if you give me your date of birth, you don't have to give me the year, then I will send you a birthday card. So there we are. And there's a form at the bottom of each post. Oh, that wasn't very good. So you can just sign up for my newsletter. You can sign up for my newsletter even if you're not in the UK, but you just won't get a birthday card, because I only send those to people in the UK, I'm afraid. So yeah. And if you shop with me, you will become a member of my VIP club. If you spend over £25 in my online store, and that's £25 in any 1 month. You don't have to do it every month, just spend £25, and I clear out my my VIP membership about once a year. But as a VIP member, you get free catalogues, and you get those as priority, so you get those before anybody else on my list. So that's always good, and you get little gifts, and we share Hostess rewards if you use the Hostess Code, although obviously if you're spending more than £150 you get to be your own hostess, so don't use the Hostess Code. So yeah, and I do try to look after my customers. We have a little Facebook group, and I have projects that are exclusive to them and all that good stuff. Right, so fast fuse, because we're making a box. Remember, it's a gentle touch and a flick, and I try to go in opposite directions, because otherwise you do find that the tape will jump off the runner and get all caught up with the mechanism, which is not a good look. So just remember that it's good not to always go one way or the other. Just, oops, missed a bit there. Just, you know, do 3 left and then 3 right, or something like that. Just don't always go in the same direction. That's the main thing. And try not to stick yourself to your board. Right, so this box is large and sticking to things. So what I want to do is just, it's quite difficult with the, can you see that? Yes, you can. So what I'm doing is lining my cut edge up to my fold, and I'll do that on all 4 corners. The first 2 are always quite straightforward, and then you get caught up in the fact that you've already stuck some down. I tend to try and make sure that any sticky is not inside the box until the last minute, because you can just bend it through, and it then means that it's not going to stick in the wrong place. Or I'll rephrase that, less likely to stick in the wrong place. Right, so here's my tissue paper, all stamped. So let's pop that in. And our little teddy bear, as I say, Pinterest. If you look up Pinterest and face cloths, then you will find, or teddy bear face cloths, you will find those. So that's our little teddy bear wrapped up. And then let's do the same on this. And then we're nearly done at 24 minutes. Woof. So this should be slightly easier to see because it's slightly smaller. So just onto the fold line, and do be careful not to go over, because you've just very carefully put an extra 1/16 of an inch into your dimensions. So I would highly recommend not losing it by going over your score line. Here we go. So the moment of truth. Fingers crossed. There you go. So if we look at it upside down, you can see that's a really nice fit. So, having very carefully put the teddy bear in, I'm going to very carefully take it out again, because I've just remembered I forgot to put the elephant on the bottom. So I'm just taking some liquid adhesive, and the only reason I need the teddy bear out is so that I can then push this down from the inside. So just pop our elephant on the bottom and press so that we know that that's well stuck. Then we can pop our little teddy bear back in into her little box. Pop the lid back on. Actually, no, I'm going to not do the same mistake twice. Let's pop this on so that I can press that on. And again, I'm just going to use liquid adhesive. You can use liquid adhesive to make your box. It's just a little more fiddly because you have to hold the seams together. I just want to make sure that that's straightish. And again, pop that so that we know that it's stuck on properly. And then pop our lid back on, which we know fits because we've already done that once. Clear some of the rubbish out of the way. And there we go. 2 lovely little teddy bear gift sets. So I hope you enjoyed that. I think they're really cute and a really nice way of dressing up what is otherwise quite a boring and inexpensive little gift. But I think for a newborn, it's always nice to be able to give something. And this just makes it a little more fun and I think a little more cost effective. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Do remember to subscribe. If you need any of the supplies, it would really help me if you were to shop through my online store, linked below. The products are linked below as well. I only operate in the UK, so if you're outside the UK, you're off the hook. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Thank you very much.